There we go. Hi, Rabbi David. How you doing?
Oh, how are you, bro? Rabbi Horowitz, Rabbi Bernie. Hi.
So you got to help me on the how to get the background. Oh, choose virtual background. I think I got it. There we go. I got to go find it, right? Let's see. How do I search?
Rabbi Bernie, go to your camera, and then next to the camera there is a choose virtual background. You have to make sure that your picture is available somewhere to be found on your screen or wherever you downloaded it from. And hit the little plus sign next to the choose virtual background and upload that picture.
All right, let me try that. All right, video.
Hey, Rabbi Kudan.
Hello, how are you?
Choose
Never had a bad day, buddy.
Okay, go. I'm gonna mute my phone. All right. Good. We have our 3 readers from Temple Tiferet Shalom.
Excellent, and I believe we have our 2. So
I see Bryna is on.
I see she's on, and I've made her and you guys co-hosts in case we have to mute anybody.
Thank you for the honor.
I've made the cast co-hosts in case we have to mute anybody tonight.
Okay.
So, Rabbi, when I go into virtual background, you said there's a plus sign somewhere?
Well, no. Yeah, there should be a plus sign right on the top of the pictures, unless maybe.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Can you see a little plus?
Add image. All right.
Add the image, right? And
here we go.
that.
Beautiful. Candles. Okay.
What a beautiful situation. Huh? Good. Yeah.
Huh?
Wait, why do I only see half of the picture? I've never seen that before.
That's pretty cool. That's because he's got a lighting issue.
Yes.
He doesn't have light in front of him. He only has it in back of him.
Oh.
So when you have backlight.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Somebody has a nice Jewish star, Marcy and Joseph.
You know, I'm not sure how to do that. I got a light shining right on me.
Yeah. It's the backlight, Bernie, is the problem. You have any lights in the back?
You have a light on behind you.
Shut the light off behind you.
Shut the light off.
How interesting.
Wait a minute. What happened?
There
you go, Bear.
There you go.
I think that
worked. Disappeared too.
Yeah, you can't have any light on behind you. The only way you can fix that is to put a green screen in or something behind you.
All right, I'll
take it like a TV
You're
studio.
gathering a nice.
We have 1 minute, folks, and then I'll do the explanation here of what we're about to do, which is the evening service first.
There we go. So that's you. Okay, good. It's working.
Of course it's working.
Thanks.
You have Rabbi Kudan, the techie, in the room tonight. All right. Is Paula with us tonight?
I am.
All right. Paula's the official timekeeper. She's going to tell me what time.
And I'm watching the clock. A couple more seconds. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's 7 o'clock.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock according to the official timekeeper. We welcome our guest tonight joining us. Google started talking to me on my other phone. We welcome our guest here tonight from TTS Tiferet Shalom in Peabody, Congregation Beit Shalom in Monroe Township, New Jersey, and here at Temple Ner Tamid in Peabody, Massachusetts. We are having a combined service tonight. We are starting off the service with the Temple Ner Tamid evening service. However, because it is Tisha B'Av, after I do the Ashrei and the Kaddish for Mincha, it will become Tisha B'Av, obviously. And it is a very solemn and somber service. And then after the service is over, about 7:30, we will begin our actual reading of the Echa and that program, which goes on tonight for Tisha B'Av. And of course, joining us tonight, Rabbi Kudan, Rabbi Horowitz, and Bryna Tabaski, joining us, the music director at Temple Tiferet Shalom. And we're looking forward to working together this evening on a very solemn evening, which we'll talk about as we get going here tonight. But first, the evening or afternoon Ashrei and then Mourner's Kaddish for those of you that are reciting it. Tonight, I'm going to ask people, because the Nusach is different from Mariv, to please not open your microphones at normal times unless I ask you to. So when you see readings or something coming up, you just automatically open. Please do not do that tonight, because the service will be a little bit different from the perspective of the mode and the nusach, the melodies that we'll be using. The afternoon service. Hashrei Shrebetecha, Odil Luchasela, Shrem Shchakalo, Shrem Shnai Lahavti, Lala David, Armim Chayla, Melech, Vavachashim Chalalam, Vebechom, Vavachach, Valashim Chalalam, Ved, Gadol, and Lamaloma, Veligdalato in Cheker, Dora Doi Shabach Matsecha, Gvorotach Yagidu, Hadach Vorodecha, Vedivrei Niflotecha, Sicha, Bezuzan Rotecha Yameru, Udalatcha Sapanana, Zecharav Tuchayabi, Ubitsicha Chayoranenu, Chanun, Vorachum Chapam Chased, Tobanai Lakol, Voracham Avakoma, Sabio Dugan Akoma Sach, Vachasidecha Yivarchucha. Kavol Malchut Chayomeru, Gvorot Chayda Beru, Vildil of Neadam Gvorot, Tavakvorada Malchut, Malchut Chamalchut, Kolomim. Memshat Kabachol Dova, Dor Samech and the Koloflim is okay for Kolofim. A nay, Koladache Sabe, Rubetan and Lahematochlam Bito, Poteach. Et Yadech, Amaspircho, Haratzon, Sidigan Abihor, Havachasibucho Masab, Karovan Alcho, Korab, Lechorashay, Vemet, Ritzoni Reav, Yaasebi, Shabatami Shmabi, Oshiem, Shomer, and I call about Bear Koroshim Yashmid, Tilat and I bear Pivi, Barakabasashim, Kachel, Vaed. Hallelujah. At this time, those of you reciting the Mourner's Kaddish for the afternoon service, the Mincha afternoon Mourner's Kaddish, you may open your microphones. We will recite the Mourner's Kaddish together, and again, as close to unison as possible. Let us keep it slow. Please help us out with this to try to stay together. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, B'nei Rabbah. Bialma, Ibra, Bihute, Biamlich, Malchute, Bechayechon, Ubiomechon, Uchaye, Dechol, Beit Yisrael, Ba'adallah, Uvizman, Kari, Yemru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabam Barach, Ulolam, Ulolmei, Olmaya. Yitbarach, Yitabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitchomam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yithalel, Yithalal, Shemei, Kodishah, Barichu, Leila, Min Kol, Birchata, V'Shirata, Tushbechat, V'Nechemata, Da'amiran, B'Alma, B'Yamru, Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chayim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yamru Amen. Oseh Shalom Roma Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yamru Amen. Well, that will conclude our afternoon service. We're going to begin the Ma'ariv service at this time. And again, I will remind you that it is Tisha B'Av. It is a very subdued service. We are mourning. We are mourning destruction of the temples and other things that we'll talk about later on in our service. Adonai Hoshia Melech Yaneinu B'Yom Koreinu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavarach. Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. I'll ask everyone to mute your microphones at this time, please. Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Asher B'Varo Mari V'Aravi B'Chochma B'Tech Shavim U'V'Tvuna Maseitim U'Machalek Azmanim U'Sader Chokavim B'Shmotehem B'Charav B'Chtoram Barayom V'Layla Golel U'Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or U'Mavir Yom Mevi Layla U'Mavdil Ben Yom U'Ben Layla Adonai Tzebaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari Baravim Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Hafta Torah Mitzvot K'mishvat B'Shach B'Nefkumenu Nasiach B'Chukecha V'Nismach B'Divrei Toratecha U'Mitzvotecha Le'olam Va'ed Ki Heim Chayenu V'Yorech Yameinu V'Hem Negeh Yomam V'Layla Yavatcha Tasim Imenu Le'olamim Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. At this time, I invite everyone to open your mics who wish to. We recite the Shema Yisrael together as a congregation, saying the words of our Lord, acceptance of our God, as we say the words together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, I'll ask you to please mute your microphones, except I'm going to ask Rabbi Kudan to keep his open and lead us in the Via Hafta. Of course, you all keep your microphones closed, and Rabbi will lead us reading the Via Hafta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך,
And we'll now continue silently. V'hayim Shemua Tishmuel Mitzvotai Asher Anochi Mitzvavetchem Hayom Lavat Adonai Elohim Lavotat B'chol V'chem V'chol Nafshechem V'ratatem Eteretzechem V'toyere Makush V'sav V'deganecha V'tishtav V'yisavach V'dinati Yasef V'petzadek V'mechshmech V'yichaf V'chalata V'zavata Yishemulechem Pen Yiften L'vavchem V'startim V'etrei Elohim Achirim V'yishtach B'dam Lahem V'charapan L'vavchem V'startim Shemai V'lo Yematar V'adamalo Titeniti V'la V'edehem Mirami Al-Tzotava Asher and I noted Lahem Ki V'shavtem Etrei Alav V'chem V'yal Nafshechem V'kshetem Atam L'yotayachem V'yirut Utapov B'ninechem V'limaritem Otam Epinechem L'daber Bam V'shivtecha V'techa V'latecha V'deu Shavkav K'mecha Uchtatam Amazot B'techa V'shurecha L'man Yibu Yimei V'eminechem Al Damash Yanishbaron Elevotechem L'tei Lahem Kimei Hashemayim Al Haaretz. If Rabbi Horowitz is with us, he will now lead us in the Vayomer. Again, we will be reading it, not chanting it.
Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor, Dabir El Bnei Yisrael, V'amarta Aleihem, V'yasu Lahem Tzitzit, Al Kanfei Vigdehem Ledoratam, V'natnu Al Tzitzit, Hakana Petil Techelet, V'haya Lachem Letzitzit, Uritem Oto, Uzachartem Et Kol Mitzvot Adonai, V'yasitem Otam, V'lo Taturu Acharei Levavchem, V'acharei Einechem, Asher Atem Zonim Achareihem, Leman tizkru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. We'll continue silently. Emet v'meno kol zov v'gam aleinu gidna Eloheinu v'yintzelo tamid nafshis v'ramo. Abodemi amalachim akinu agolenu mikov korotzim ha'el hanifra lanu. Nesareinu amashalem gambol chol avei nafshenu ha'tzeh gadolot adei cheke v'niflot adei mispar. Asam nashenu b'chaim v'lo natan lamot ragleinu. Amadrichenu abba moteveinu v'ram koineinu al koiseinu oselanu nisim u'kodem b'toro v'otanu otot me'oftim v'yavad v'chechenecham. Amakevrot ha'bechol v'yacharei Mitzrayim v'yatzet amo Yisrael b'tuchum l'chirut olam. Amavir vanav ben Kizrei Yamsuf et Rodfehem Betsonehem Betamot Tiba V'rau vanav Givurato Shibchu V'du Lishmo Malchuto V'ratzon Kiblu Aleihem Moshe B'nei Yisrael L'chanu Shira B'simcha Rabba V'yamru Chulam Micha mocha b'olim Adonai Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele Malchutecha rov banecha bokayim lifnei Moshe Zei lianu v'yamru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar ki b'nai et Yaakov v'golo miyad chazak mimenu baruch ata Adonai Goal Yisrael. I'm going to ask everyone to please keep their microphones muted, but ask Rabbi Kudan to read us in the English for the Hashkivenu, and you can all join him with your microphones muted, please. Please keep your microphones muted. Please keep all of your microphones muted at this time, except for Rabbi Kudan. Thank you very much. Rabbi?
Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign delight. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Praised are you, Adonai, eternal guardian of your people Israel.
Rabbi, thank you. I'm going to ask Rabbi Bernie now to read the words of the Hashkivenu in the Hebrew. Rabbi Bernie.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu be'etza tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu l'ma'an shemecha, v'hagein ba'adenu, v'haser me'aleinu oyev, dever, v'cherev, v'ra'av, v'yagon, v'haser satan milfanenu me'acharenu, u'v'tel knafecha tastirenu, Ki el shomrenu umatzilenu ata, ki el malachanun brachumata. Ushmor tzeiteinu bo'enu l'chaim u'l'shalom yatav yarolam baruch ataranai, shomeh amo Yisrael la'ad.
Ushmor tzeiteinu v'oenu l'chaim u'shalom yatav yad olam, baruch atah Adonai, shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. We continue silently. Baruch Hanei l'olam amevi amen. Baruch Hanei Metzion Shegen Yerushalayim. Hallelujah. Baruch Hanei l'himah Yisrael Oseh Nefelo Dovodo Baruch Shem Kvodo L'olam v'Yamalek Kvodo Kol Artz Amevi amen. Yichvod Hanei l'olam Yismach Rabbe Masavi Shem Hanei Mebarach Me'atav l'olam ki lo yitash Hanei Tamo b'yavush Shema Gadol ki ho'il Adonai lasot etchem lo la'am yar kol ha'am vayiflu al pneihem vayamru Adonai hu ha'Elohim Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol ha'aretz v'yomo Adonai echad u'shmo echad yichas l'chad Adonai Eloheinu kasher yichamnu lach Ashienu Adonai Eloheinu v'chavseinu v'asenu min hagoyim Odot l'shem kodshecha l'ishtabech b'tilatecha Kol goyim asher asita yavo v'yishtachvu lefanecha Adonai v'chvodu l'shemecha Ki gadol ata v'yoseh neflaot ata Elohim levadecha V'anachnu amcha b'tzom ma'aritecha Nodelecha le'olam l'dor v'ador nesaper tehilatecha Baruch Adonai bayom Baruch Adonai balayla Baruch Adonai b'shachbehu, Baruch Adonai b'chomeinu, ki b'yadcha nashot ha'chayim v'hametim, asher b'yado nefesh kol kai v'ruach kol basar ish, b'yahadecha afkid ruchi, pedita oti Adonai el emet, Eloheinu shebashamayim yached shimcha v'kayim achutcha tamid u'maloch aleinu le'olam v'ed. Yerueinenu v'yismach libenu v'tagel nefshenu b'shvatecha be'emet be'amor. L'tzom melach Elohayich Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Ki hamalchut shelcha hi umlamei atimloch b'chavod. Ki ein lanu melech ela ata baruch ata Adonai hamelech b'chvodo tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. V'al kol masav Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabba v'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayrecho beit Yisrael v'agalav zman kariv v'yamru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'me'omaya yiparach Yivarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yirumam v'yinasei Yidadar v'dalev v'dalal shemei l'godesha berichu Le'ela min kol v'chata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechamata da'amiram v'yama v'yamru Amen. I'm going to ask Rabbi Bernie now to say the words of the Amida silently. He'll say them softly for everyone. If you wish to follow with him in the words on the screen or the words in your heart, this is an appropriate time for personal and private prayer. Meditation is recited usually at this time for the service. Rabbi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Eloheinu Eloheinu Eloheinu Avraham Eloheinu Yitzchak Eloheinu Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Oyel Hagadol Hagibor Behanrael Yon Gomnei Chasadim Tamim Konei Kol V'Zochei Chasdei Avor Meviko Elev Nevnehem L'Machmo B'Yahava. Melech Ozeo Foket Moshe Umagin Brokat Taranai Magen Abraham Foket Sarah. Atagibor L'Lamanai Mechaim Etem Torah L'Hoshia. Mechal Kel Chaim Bechesim Mechaim Etem Brachim and Rabim Smek Nochem Merpek Lomatis Rim Umekayim Monotol Shnei Afa. Micha Mocha Balvatu Mitom Malach. Malach Me Mitum Chaya Umatzmech Yeshua. V'Neaman Atalach Yom Metem Brokat Taranai Mechayim Metem. Atakadosh V'Shim Kadosh Krishim Chod Yolucha Salabok Tanai Hoel Hakadosh. Atachonei Ledam Dad Umlamed Le'enosh Bina Chanin Miakadea Bina Bahasker Bok Tanai Chonein Hadad. Hashivenu Vino Choter V'Kavin Mokein Lava D'Sachav HaKizren B'Shuva Shalem Lefanach Bok Tanai Ritzat Shuva Sachlanu Abinu Kicha Tanu Machalanu Malkenu Kifa Shanu Kimuchev Slecha Tabok Tanai Chonein Mabos Loa Rein Yavianenu Vivayenu Gilen Mel Shemek Leo Chazak Atabanai Goa Yisrael Rufaenu Narfei V'Shem V'Shir Kitilatenu Ata Ahalei Fu Shalem Lechamakotenu Kiomel Rofeinen Rachmana Taboktana Rofe Kolea Mo Yisrael Barach Alenu Nalahinu Tishana Zabet Kumani Tvotelotova Ten Bracha Obtainum Absmim Tuba Operation Attention Matova Buktan Barach Shanim Tekavisho Fagidol Kawitan was Sundays Gabet Kaliotenu Kapsenu Yakamia Bakan Pot Arik Buktanai Mikamis Chemo Yisrael. Hashiv Shavchen Kavishana Bioten Gavakila Bahasa Mimenu Gonjanacha, Wakalena Watana, Labaka Bekesta Rakman Taken Mishra, Brokatana Malfa Hitaka Mishpal, Malamalshina Motitek for Holoshuka Kregatovid, Koivak Mekareto, Yazid Mayor Tagi Chavit, Magi Takim Biaman, Boksnashov, Odnimak Yazidim, Alatari can be Alcasid Yazak Yam Kabit Yisrael, Play Tatsofram, Valgara Tervialam Yamuna Rachmak Nalahim, Ten Sakatola Holobotkim Shim Bemet, Simco Kenamam Linovoska with Abatakam Mishana. Tatla Tzadikim. Yushalayim Yechel Brachman Tashu Betishkom Betocha Chishiribata. Uvnei Otabek Karabin Yamen Binyan Alam Bechise David Mehela Toktakan Boktaranai One Yerushalayim. At Semek Tivat Kameheri Tatsmia for Kano Tum Shua Taka Kilis what Fin Kol Hayom Buktan Smir Kenishua. Shma Kolenu Nalahin Hus Brachim Len, but Kabil Brachman Batson Tviltano. Kiel Shemet Tvils Taptomata. Umelpanakamal Kenway Kamal to Jimeno Keta Schmidt Tvils Amka Sho Brachman Buktanai Shomeya Tefila. Ritzer Nalahin Bamka Shobit Pilotam, Yashavid of Olid Bibitek, Utfil Tambio Batkabia Batson, or Hilawaton Tamit Abda Israel Mecha. Betechazana and in Bashuchatzion Brachmer Boktan Makazishkin Tolzion Modium Monapolachata who are now in a way with Telly Lumber and so Hayenama Ganishan Watahula Dovodon to Dalahanas Betel Takal Henu Hamstrom Yadaka, Yanish Motel Gasak, Nani Section Manual Flotek Top 8 Airboat Tram, Tokilo Halarak Magrakim Kilo Tamagas Nagan Kunalak. Yalkulamia Brakit Mamshim Kamal Keno Tamid Lamba Evohola Hamidu Kasal Balut Wimet, Oelzo Tenos and Tenos Sala Baruch Atanai Toshim Kal Kanawala Hoto. Shalom Marva Yishalom Kavel Kosh Tevel Tasim Leolam Kieta Humel Kadona Kol Shalom, the Tobe Nakalreka Amkashoba Kolet Kosh Shalom Portana Breaking Most Shalom.
At this time, I'm going to ask Rabbi Kudan to open his microphone. No one else, please. Everybody keep your microphones muted. Rabbi Kudan, would you lead the congregation in the personal prayer that we recite after we say the Amidah? My God.
My God, keep my tongue from evil, my lips from lies. Help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. May the one...
I'm going to ask you to stop there. Bryna, are you with us, Bryna? If you are, open your mic, please, Bryna.
Yes, here I am.
Would you lead us in the words, Oseh Shalom B'Merma, the song, Oseh Shalom, Oseh?
Of course.
Thank you.
Let me get closer. Oseh Shalom B'Mermav, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimiru. Amen.
May the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, and all who dwell on God's earth. And we together say, Amen.
Amen.
Now, it is our custom at this time during the service. Later on, we will also be praying for healing. We are not going to sing the prayer for healing at this time, but if those of you who wish to name someone who may be ill at this time for this service, now would be the appropriate time when I stop during the Misha Berach. When I stop, you may open your microphones and then please immediately close them again. Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Eliyahu Yivarech v'Rafei et.
Peter Patuto,
Ian
Toby, Angela Volante,
Rizzo,
Suzanne Tabaski,
Bernard Coliano,
Richard Scribner,
Ray Ann Dunn, and Barbara Isaacs.
Elliot Schwartz,
Jeff Schultz, Rabbi Sitchenkin.
And if you've finished, everybody please mute your microphones. Yivarech v'Rafei et ha-cholim b'kilot kidosh ha-kadosh baruch hu yimalei rachamim alehem lahachazikam la'ufrotam v'yishlach lehem refuah shlema min hashamayim frat hanefesh frat haguf b'toch shachalei Yisrael hashta b'agav zman kari v'nomar amen. May God bring blessing and healing to all those that were just mentioned, all the names that we just mentioned, those we know of and those we may not know of who suffer illness within the congregations that we serve. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and to vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being together with all people everywhere who may be ill. And as I said, later on during our service, we will be singing the appropriate song for healing later on. At this time, I'm going to do the Kaddish Shalom. You're going to notice a line will be missing because we are virtually in a Shiva setting. We don't say the Yehei Shlama during that because we don't ask God to accept the prayers and supplications of mourners. It's kind of like rubbing salt in the wound. We don't do that. So at this time, I will say it as though we're in a house of Shiva. Yigra v'gira shemei Rabbah, b'yamad yivrach yirutei b'yamach malchutei b'chai echon b'yamechon b'chai echol beit Yisrael b'agalav zman kari b'yamru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'me'el maya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yibar v'yidroman v'yidnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yidalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram b'yama v'yimru. Amen. Tikabal sloton, Yehei shlam Rabbah min shemai v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. That's called age. We're not going to open our microphones at this time. I'm going to ask you, please do not open your microphones. And Rabbi Bernie, please lead us in the Aleinu. Rabbi Bernie, please lead us in the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shavech ladon hakol. With the tune, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Mated gidula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kiyei haratzon, velo samanu kimishpachon ha'adama. Shelo sam chalkenu karhem, negor aleinu kichol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
And we'll say the rest of it silently. Shuna tishma v'yosed eretz Moshe v'kabosh.
Alkein kabel kanal her tifer zegla kilom harvest kalom korritum konshira b'chomas mishmachal sharsh yostidu shalom neknon yichru ipolut b'shum kari kablu kuzum check tumot panad kemachu shechahi metam kavod. Kakatu b'torotech Adonayim lach le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushema, Ushema, Ushema Echad, Ushema Echad.
Generally, in a house of mourning, we don't sing, right? When we're doing mourning and we're in a Shiva house or we're mourning, we don't sing. But this is one of the exceptions that I personally make because it's very comforting to people. It's very comforting. People enjoy singing the Aleinu and the Shema. And so I allow it. I know many of my colleagues, especially my father, Oliver Shalom, used to get angry at me, but you know, it is what it is. We have different customs. At this time, I'm going to ask those of you who are saying the Mourner's Kaddish, you may open your microphones. Only those of you saying the Mourner's Kaddish. And if you wish to say the name of a loved one tonight, you may be remembering for either a yortzeit or just saying Kaddish for a loved one. You may say the name now.
Leonard Hillman.
Moshe Chaim.
David Kaczynski.
Harriet Cohen.
Mark Toda.
And in tribute to our loved ones, we invite those mourning and observing a yortzeit now to rise and to join us in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish as we say the words together as closely as unison as possible. Yit gadal, yit kadash, b'nei rabba. Alma, Yiruteh, Amlich, Malkuteh. B'chayechom, Yomimon, Uvchaye, Beit Israel. Ba'agala, Man, Yivru,
Amen.
Yehei, Shmei, Rabba, Lam, Mei, Barak, Shabbat, Yipa'ar, Yitromam, V'yitadar, Yit'aleh, V'yit'halal, Shemei, V'kodeshah, La'ela, Min Kol, Birchata, V'Torata, Tushbachata, V'nechemata, Da'amah, V'yit'aleh, Yehei, Amar, Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al Yisrael v'yam. Oseh shalom v'yam. Aleinu v'al Yisrael.
Amen.
Amen. At this time, I'm going to ask those of you saying the Kaddish to close your microphones for a minute. Rabbi Kudam, Rabbi Horowitz, if you would please lead us responsibly. Rabbi Kudan, you take the lead, and Rabbi Horowitz, you take the congregation lead.
Very good. Sing with joy to God, our strength. Shout with gladness to the God of Jacob.
Strike up a melody, sound the timbrel, play sweet tones on harp and lyre. Sound the shofar on the new moon, on the full moon for our festive day.
It is the law for the people Israel. The God of Jacob sits in judgment. God ordained it as a decree for Joseph when he rose against the land of Egypt.
Then I heard a voice I never knew. I removed the burden from your shoulder. Your hands were freed from the load.
When you called in distress, I rescued you. Unseen, I answered you in thunder. I tested your faith in the wilderness.
Hear this warning, my people. Israel, if you would only listen. You shall have no strange God among you, and you shall not worship an alien God.
I am Adonai, your God, who brought you up out of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it.
But my people did not listen. Israel would have none of me. So I let them persist in their stubbornness, and I let them follow their own inclinations.
If only my people would listen to me, if the people Israel would walk in my ways, then I would soon subdue their foes and strike out at their oppressors.
Enemies of Adonai shall be humbled. Their downfall shall be unending.
But you would I feed with the richest of wheat. With honey from the rock would I satisfy you.
Misanei Adonai yichachashu lo v'hi itam le'olam v'achilehu mechelev chita u'mitzor davash aspiyaka.
One more time, the Mourner's Kaddish. Those of you reciting the Kaddish may open your microphones. And again, we rise for the words as we recite them together, those of you saying Kaddish. Yit gadal, yit kadash, B'alma, Ra, Chiruteh, Amlich, Malkuteh. בחייכם וביעכם ובחיי כל בית ישראל בהגבלה ובעברו אמן. יהי שמי רבה בעולם יתברך יפאר ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי בקדושה לעילה יהי למה רבה חיים עלינו עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Amen.
This time I'm going to pause my screen and I'm going to ask everybody in the room except for the rabbis and the cantor. Well, the cantor.
Come on here.
For now, but the rabbis, please stay unmuted, and everyone else, please mute your microphones at this time. Everyone mute your microphones. I am not going to lock down the microphones this evening because we are going to actually ask many of you to take part in our service tonight. As you know, Tisha B'Av is a time of mourning. It is a time when we mourn the destruction of the temples, and it's also a period of time, the finishing up the 3 weeks where we have been hearing pretty tough stories of admonition from the Haftarot, and hearing if we don't, follow God's ways, bad things will happen to us. It's a time when many of us growing up would not swim or go in places that might put us in harm's way. And then all of a sudden, summertime came, and this night would have come, and all of a sudden, my father and mother, SHALOM, a blessed memory, would say, "You can't eat today." What do you mean I can't eat? I want to go to the beach. You can't go to the beach. And we would have to get together, and we would go to the shul in the area, and we would sit on the floor. And as you could probably see behind us, the rabbis have candles tonight, and it is appropriate to light these candles at this time for those of you who have the candles in your home. We're doing them virtually because it's just a little easier, but we light candles, and we read from the candles when we're sitting in the shul on the floor, generally mourning. In many places you would go, there would be the parochet, the various different things that go on in the ark would be kind of scattered about to kind of reconstruct the desecration that took place in the temples and the destruction. And so many of us have these memories, and later we're going to hear Echa, we're going to read it together. And that's where you're going to come in. For those of you that are joining with us tonight, we have some assigned readings already placed out amongst our two different congregations. Again, we want to also welcome Congregation Beit Shalom in Monroe Township, New Jersey. I'm sorry we weren't able to get some parts out to you, but we're going to give you an opportunity during the service. For TTS, for Tiferet Shalom, we've given out a couple of parts, and we've given out some parts previously for here at Temple Ner Tamid in Peabody. But during the reading of the Echa, we are going to ask those of you that wish to participate to either raise your hand. How you do that is you go to the participants list, you go to the little icon at the bottom or the top of your screen that has people. It has 2 people sitting next to it. Right now it shows the number 55 next to it. And many of you will see 3 dots over on the side. And where those 3 dots are, if you click that, you may see a thing called Raise My Hand. If you don't even want to go that far and you just don't want to push that button, push a yes button next to your name. The yes button means I want to have a reading during the reading of the Echa tonight. I'd like to take part. Rabbi Kudan will be assigning those parts. He'll be telling people who will be next and whatnot. So when we get to the Echa, when we get to the reading of Lamentations, we'll ask those of you that wish to take part, and I promise I'll make the English, it's all in English for you. I'll make the English really big on the screen so you don't have to use your reading glasses. I want to introduce Rabbi Kudam, Rabbi Horowitz, and Brian Tabaski, who is going to be joining us tonight for our service. Rabbi Kudan, do you have any words of welcome?
Well, I want to welcome all those participating. It's certainly wonderful when our neighboring congregations can worship together and affirm that we share a bond as members of Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. And it's very nice that Congregation New Jersey has also joined us, which one of the beauties of the new technology is that it helps us to feel that greater sense of connection with our people wherever they may be around the world. And our history is what links us, and that sense of a shared history, a shared fate. And I hope it also will, as we reflect this evening, reaffirm our hope that we will have a shared future together as we think of the resilience which our people is capable of, and how even in the present crisis, we can find a sense of healing and hope in the future. So thank you, Rabbi Perlman, for bringing us together tonight.
Which is something that later on in the service, you've actually helped me put together, that portion of healing that will take place later on in our service. So Rabbi Kudan, I thank you for that. We're like brothers, for God's sakes. That's Rabbi Horowitz, do you have any words of welcome?
Yeah, welcome everyone. And just, it's a sad day for us. It's our National Day of Mourning. So it's really not a celebration, but it's a celebration for us to be able to all get together and to share this event. And I hope and pray that we will have a renewed relationship with Hashem, and that next year in Jerusalem, as they say, in a healthy world.
Amen. Amen. All right, so I think it's about time for us to begin our service. Brian Tabaski is going to be beginning the service tonight, singing for us Ani Mamin, as we believe in the coming of the Messiah. Brian?
If I could just say, Brian Tabaski is music director at Temple Tiferet Shalom. We're glad you're leading with us today as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, rabbis. I'm very happy to be able to share with everyone. Ani Mamin, Ani Mamin, Ani Mamin, Ani Mamin. B'bono Shem b'milat HaMoshiach, li'afar pi sheifamea, in ha'ani mamin, in kol zeh achakelo, b'chol yom shevo.
Thank you for that. And now we're going to begin our service part with some history. Tisha B'Av, 9th day of Av, is the date of the destruction of both the first and second temples. It is also the date of several other calamities. It is regarded by many religious Jews as a curse, a day when something bad might happen. And now we're going to go alternate, Rabbi Kudan, Rabbi Horowitz, and myself.
586 BCE, the Babylonian army destroyed the temple.
70 CE, Titus and the Roman army destroyed the second temple.
135, Bar Kokhba's stronghold fell, ending Jewish independence.
1096, beginning of the First Crusades.
1290, England expelled its Jews.
1306, France expelled its Jews.
1492, all Jews had to vacate Spain under an expulsion order signed by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
1914, declarations for World War I.
1942, plans for the Jews' annihilation by Hitler. Whoops.
Tisha B'Av is not a perpetual fast. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the fast of the 4th month and the fast of the 5th shall be to the house of Judah joy and gladness. Zechariah 8:19. The Messiah will come. Zechariah 9, verse 9. The holy temple will be rebuilt, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 9.
A 3-week mourning period preceding Tisha B'Av begins on the 17th of the month of Tammuz. According to the Mishnah, this was the day the Romans succeeded in breaching the walls of Jerusalem in 70 CE. The Mishnah also mentions other tragic events that occurred on this day in Tammuz. This 3-week period leading up to the major fast of Tisha B'Av is called Bein HaMetzarim, in the Straits. Traditional Jews do not get married or celebrate other joyous festivities in these 3 weeks.
9 days prior to Tisha B'Av, a new period of more intense mourning begins. Traditional Jews do not eat meat, cut their hair, or wash their clothes. All these actions are considered signs of joy or luxury, inappropriate for this time of mourning.
The Shabbat immediately preceding the festival is Shabbat Hazon, which means vision. The name derives from the Haftarah, the prophetic reading for the day. Taken from Isaiah 1, the reading describes Isaiah's vision of national disaster befalling the Israelites because of their sins.
Tisha B'Av is a full fast day, so the last meal must be eaten before sunset prior to the 9th of Av. This meal, marking the boundary between periods of eating and fasting, is called the Seudah HaMafseket. The meal often is comprised of round foods like eggs or lentils, which symbolize mourning in Jewish tradition because they evoke the cycle of life. Some people eat an egg or bread sprinkled with ashes, and some Jews may sit on the ground during the meal. The Birkat HaMazon, the grace after meals, is said individually and in silence.
In addition to abstaining from food or drink during Tisha B'Av, Jewish tradition also mandates refraining from wearing leather, washing one's body, and using perfume or other such ointments. Interestingly, visiting cemeteries on this day is encouraged, as if to heighten the sadness.
Uniquely on Tisha B'Av, Torah study meant to be joyful is not permitted. Some parts of the Bible or Talmud are allowed, like Job or Jeremiah, or sections of the Talmud or Midrash that discuss the destruction of Jerusalem. In the synagogue, the lights are dimmed, and in some locations, even the ornamental parochet, the covering, is removed from the ark as a sign of mourning before the evening service. Congregants remove their leather shoes and do not greet each other.
The Megillat Eicha, the Scroll of Lamentations, which is a lament for the destruction of the first temple, is chanted during the Mariv service, along with several keynote elegies or dirges written at different periods of Jewish history. The keynote speak of the suffering and pain of Jewish tragedy through the ages.
Talit, prayer shawl, and tefillin, phylacteries, usually worn during morning services, are instead worn during Mincha, the afternoon service. During Mincha, prayers that were omitted in the morning are recited. The Torah and Haftarah readings are the same as on other public fasts.
Whoops, sorry about that.
All right. The meal ending the fast traditionally omits meat and wine, an acknowledgement of the fact that the burning of the temple continued until the next day. Finally, the sorrow that began on the 17th of Tammuz comes to a halt, and the Shabbat immediately following Tisha B'Av is called Shabbat Nachamu, Shabbat of comfort, because the Haftarah begins with the words Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, comfort, comfort my people. And this begins a period of consolation and comfort leading up to Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year.
We now begin with readings this evening. We have assigned readings. I believe Rabbi Kudan has assigned this reading for a Temple Tiferet Shalom
Right.
member.
We invite Gary Gillette, one of our prayer leaders at our temple, to read this for us. There lies hope.
With one great swipe of his unmerciful hand, he led us destruction. With one great tear streaming from my eye, I send myself back in time to those painful years, a time when the world was ablaze with a burning hatred, a hatred so threatening and vicious against a humble people so full of innocence. Why? I question myself, gazing above into the clear blue sky, expecting an answer, but no answer comes. With each fresh tear, I struggle with my burden until one night in my dream, the answer is revealed. A dream bursting with hope. It was hope that took my people by the hand and led us into a new world of promise. We are fragile no more. Within my people, there is a strength born out of hope. Wretchedness and despair abound no more. We are here, for deep within us, there lies hope.
Thank you for doing that. I just want to make sure our meeting is unlocked as we now will begin the reading of Lamentations, the reading of Echa. And again, for those of you that would like to read the English, just so I'll show you what it's going to look like so you'll see. When we get to that part, I'm going to make the English nice and big for everybody so you'll be able to see it and read it. And Rabbi Kudan will be choosing people when we get to that part. I'm going to begin though by chanting the beginning. I'm going to beginning by chanting the beginning this evening. We have other readers. The other readers will be coming up this evening before each chapter. And the next reading, by the way, for chapter 2, we're going to be calling on the Spitzers, so get yourselves ready. We begin Echa. And those of you that wish to read, make sure you raise your hands or put a check mark yes next to your name. And Rabbi Kudan will be watching that, right, Rabbi?
Yes.
Okay. Echa yashva badad hayir rabotim hayta amana raboti bagoyim sarati b'malonot hayta lamas mechot avicha evala v'dimat alachaya en lal menachem kol haveha koreha b'geduba ayula leyavim galta Yehuda meyani umerov avoda hi Yashva begoyim lo mata manoach kol roveh hasigoya ben hamitzarim darchei Tzion avelot mavli b'yemoei kol shareha shomei min kahaneha Nehenachim Bitulateha Nugot Vayihi Mala Hayutzer Tzareha La Rosh Aveha Shalu Ki Adonai Hoga Arov Pishaeha Ola Aleha Alechu Shavi Lifnei Tzar Vayetze mi Beit Zion kol hadara hayu sareha alim lo matzu mire v'yechlu v'lo koach livnei rodef zarcha Yerushalayim yimei aniyah u'merudeha kol Mechamuda asher hayu mimei kedem v'nifol ama b'yadzar v'eino zela ra'u tzarim sachaku al mishpateha chet Chat HaYerushalayim al Kein Lemidah Haita Komich Chavdeha Hazilua Kirau Arbatak Gom Hi Ne'enacha B'Tashav Achor Tumata Bishuleha Lo Zachara Acharita Vetere Pilaim Ein Menachem La Re'eh Adonai Edani Ki Higadi Lo Yev Yadu Parot Sar Al Kol Machamadeha Ki Ra'ata Goyim Ba'u Mikdasha Asher Tzivata Lo Yabau Bekalach. At this time, we're going to continue in the English. All her people sigh, they seek bread. I'm going to make this bigger. Rabbi, do you have someone you want to pass this along to read a few sentences?
I invite first Miriam Levy to read.
I'm going to get a little bigger for you. And how's that? Better?
Fine, I forgot to change my name. They've given the pleasant things for food to refresh the soul. Look, O Lord, and see, for I am become gluttonous. May not befall you, all you who pass by. Look and see if there be any sorrow like my sorrow which is brought on me. Wherewith the Lord has afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger, from on high has he sent fire into my bones and prevails against them. He has spread a net for my feet, he's turned me back.
Thank you very much, Mimi. And we'll continue with someone else.
We ask Christopher Hara to continue.
He has made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgressions is bound by his hand. They are knit together. They are come up on my neck. He has made my strength to fail. The Lord has delivered me into their hands, against whom I am not able to stand. The Lord has trampled all my mighty men in the midst of me. He has called an appointed time against me to crush my young men. The Lord has trodden as in a winepress the virgin daughter of Yehuda.
Thank you very much, Christopher. Next.
Those are those who have volunteered so far.
Okay, we can go around in circles as we usually do when we're in the sanctuary. We can go back to the originals if you want. If other people want to join in, just raise your hand or put a check mark next to your day. Mimi? Go ahead, Mimi.
Sorry, I've got him on mute.
Yeah.
For these things I weep, my eye runs down with water, because the comforter who should refresh my soul is far from me. My children are desolate, because the enemy has prevailed.
Keep going. Sion.
Tizon spreads forth her hands. There's none to comfort her. The Lord has commanded concerning Yaakov that those who are bound about him should be his adversaries. Yerushalayim is among them as an unclean thing. The Lord is righteous, for he rebelled against his sword. Please hear all you peoples and see my sorrow.
Thank you very much for that. Who would be next?
Can we invite Steve Blumenkrantz? I see his name there.
Unmute your mic.
There it is.
My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and my elders expired in the city while they sought them food. To refresh their souls, see, O Lord, for I am in distress, my heart is troubled.
Do one more.
My heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled. Abroad, the sword bereaves, at home there is as death.
And why don't you continue right through the end of the 21.
They have heard that I sigh, there is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble and are glad. For you have done it, you will bring the day that you have proclaimed, and they shall be like me.
Thank you so much, Steve. And who would be next, Rabbi?
Could we call upon Richard Band?
Richard, you will read until you see that little bubble at the bottom. Unmute your
Let
microphone.
all their wickedness come before you. Do to them as you have done to me for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. How has the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger? He has cast down from heaven to the earth the beauty of Israel.
Thank you so much, Loretta. You don't even look like Richie, but that's okay.
Sorry.
We're actually now in chapter 2, and I need to make a change here, and we're going to ask the Spitzers to read. Let me just make a change on this one, and new share, and we'll get back over here.
You did it.
And reader number 2.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth does change, and though the mountains be moved into the heart of the seas, though the waters thereof roar and foam, though the mountains shake at the swelling thereof. Forever there is a river, the streams whereof make glad the city of God, the holiest dwelling place of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her at the approach of morning. Nations were in tumult, kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. God of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our high tower forever. Come, behold the works of the Eternal, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in sunder.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. He burns the chariots in the fire. Let be and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. And again, I'm sorry about dropping on that like that. It does that to me sometimes.
No problem.
Okay, we'll go back to the reading now, and we'll pick up some more English at this point. Rabbi, who will be reading next?
Would Mike Zeitcher, Dr. Zeitcher, like to read? Give him a second.
Okay.
There he is.
And hasn't remembered his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord has swallowed up and has not pitied all the habitations of Jacob. He has thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Yehudah. He has brought them down to the ground. He has profaned the kingdom and its princes. He has cut off in first anger all the horn of Israel. He has drawn back his right hand from before the enemy.
Thank you so much. Who would be next, Rabbi?
How about the Rudens? Would they like to read?
Yes.
Thank you.
He has burned up Yaakov like a flaming fire, which devours round about. He has bent his bow like an enemy. He has stood with his right hand as an adversary, has killed all that were pleasant to the eye. In the tent of the daughter of Zion, he has poured out his wrath like fire. The Lord has become as an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel.
Thank you so much for that. And we'll move it on. Next.
Would Mona Pesroff like to read? Sure.
Sure. He has swallowed up all her palaces. He has destroyed his strongholds. He has multiplied in the daughter of Yehudah mourning and lamentation. He has violently taken away his tent as if it were a garden. He has destroyed his place of assembly.
Why don't you keep going? One more.
The Lord has caused solemn assembly and Shabbat to be forgotten in Zion. He has despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. The Lord has cast off his altar. He has abhorred his sanctuary. He has given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of the solemn assembly.
Go right to the end.
The Lord has purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He has stretched out the line. He has not withdrawn his hand from destroying.
We invite Mark Cohen to continue.
Pick it up from He Has Made. Mark, open the mic.
Sorry. He has made the rampart and wall to lament. They languish together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He has destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the nations where the law is not. Also, her prophets find no vision from the Lord. The elders of the daughter of Sion sit on the ground. They keep silence. They have cast up dust on their heads. They have girded themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground. My eyes do fail with tears. My heart is troubled.
And we'll stop there. Rabbi, who would like to pick up?
Let us invite the Kepnes family.
If you would unmute. Are the Kepnes is unmuted?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. We'll come back to the Kepneses. Could we ask the Mahlers to read, please? They're muted as well.
Just unmute your microphone.
I'm unmuted. I'm unmuted.
There we go. Thank you.
My liver is poured on the earth because of the calamity of the daughter of my people. Because the young children and the infants swoon in the streets of the city. They say to their mothers, where is the grain and wine? When they swoon as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul is poured out into their mother's bosom, what shall I testify to you? What shall I liken to you, daughter of Yisrael?
If you wish to continue right to the word visions, go for it. What shall I?
What shall I compare you to you, that I may comfort you, virgin daughters of Sion, for your breach is great as the sea. Who can heal you? Your prophets have seen for you false and foolish visions.
Thank you so much. And we'll ask someone next.
Alan and Debbie Pransky. Can I invite Alan and Debbie Pransky?
They have not uncovered your iniquity to bring back your captivity, but have seen you for false oracles and causes of banishment. All that pass by clap their hands at you. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. Is this the city that was called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All your enemies have opened their mouth wide against you. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. The Lord has done that which he proposed. He has carried out his word that he commanded in the days of old. He has grown.
Go ahead. Go ahead, finish that.
Not pitied. He has caused the enemy to rejoice over you. He has exalted the horn of your adversaries.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to someone else for
We come back to the Kepnes family now. They're unmuted.
Their heart cried out to the Lord, wall of the daughter of Sion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give yourself no respite. Don't let the apple of your eye cease.
Want to take one more? Go ahead.
Sure. Arise, cry out in the night at the beginning of the watches. Pour out your heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up your hands toward him for the life of your young children that faint for hunger at the head of every street.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll pick someone up now at verse 20.
Is Richard Woolens able to unmute?
Would be Carol.
Carol.
It's me.
Hi.
Okay. Okay. Shall the priest and the prophets be? Okay. Am I off?
You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. Shall the priest and the prophet be killed in the sanctuary of the Lord? The youth and the old man lie on the ground in the streets.
Please continue.
My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword. You have killed them in the day of your anger. You have slaughtered and not pitied. You have called as in the day of an appointed time, my terror on every side.
Great. We'll let someone else pick it up with the word there.
Is Ellen Winokur able to read? Unmute.
Ellen, we're going to let you take it here, and we're going to let you stop at the word consumed, and then you'll pick it up again after the next reading, which will be done by a TTS member. There was none.
There was none that escaped or remained in the day of the Lord's anger. Those that I have dandled and brought up has my enemy consumed.
All right, we're going to stop here. And at this point, we're going to head back to the readings. And I believe this is someone from Tiferet Shalom. Am I right?
We'll ask Lauren Cherkis. Sorry, this is reading number 3. Will be Lauren Cherkis.
This is whoops. Reading number 3. Yes.
This is whoops.
Whoops.
Lord hath done great things. A song of ascents. When the Eternal brought back those that returned to Zion, we were like unto them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the nations, the Eternal has done great things with these. The Eternal has done great things with us. We are rejoiced. Turn our captivity, O Eternal One, as the streams in the dry land. They that saw in tears shall reap in joy. Though he goes on his way weeping, that bears the measure of seed, he shall come home with joy, bearing his sheaves.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll get back to Echa now. And I was going to do some Hebrew, but Ellen, why don't you pick it up with the I am the man. Ellen?
I am the man that has seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He has led me and caused me to walk in darkness and not in light. Surely against me he turns his hand again and again all the day.
Let's keep going. 4.
My flesh and my skin he worn out. He has broken my bones. He has built against me and compassed me with gall and travail.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's get someone else. Appreciate it, Ellen. Rabbi?
I see Henry.
Henry.
Yes.
Go for it. Unmute. There you go.
He has walled up my ways with hewn stone. He has made my paths crooked. He is to me as bear lying in wait, as a lion in secret places. He has turned aside my ways and pulled me in pieces. He has made me desolate. He has bent his bow and sent me as a mark for the arrow. He has caused the shafts of his quiver to enter into my reins. I am become a derision to all people and their song all the day.
All right, we're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. And I'm going to bring it back down. Whoops. And I'm going to do some of this if I can. Whoops. I think I just made a mess here. We're going to do this in, let me find it. All right. It's easy. I believe this is where we were. No?
For some reason, it's moved. I'm not sure if this is the.
No, it's the wrong chapter.
Yeah.
Right.
Such an incredibly powerful text to imagine what it was like to live through the destruction of the temple and the carrying off of the refugees to Babylon, the suffering, the starvation, the dislocation. It's just so evocative, this poetry of thousands of years ago.
I shouldn't have done what I did. I got myself in trouble now.
Oh, you know, when you hit the down arrow, I think it changed the whole page.
It did.
They took the whole royal family. They took the king and they blinded him and brought him.
Yes.
Brought him to Babylon.
15, right there.
Here we go. Okay.
Go ahead, Rabbi. I'm sorry. You were
No,
the story.
Just reflecting a bit.
Hasviani bimroti harani lana viagreis bechatat Shinai hachfit shani ba'efer v'tizanach mishalom nafshi noshti tova vayomar Rabya nitzochi v'tochalti me Adonai Zacharinai umaradi lana v'rosh Zachor tizchor v'tashoach alai nafshi zot ashiv el libi al kein ochil kastei. I just lost it.
Right down to 22. There you go.
Kasdei Adonai kilo tamanu kilo chalu rachamav chadashim karim rabba amunatecha chelki Adonai amara nafshi al kenochi ilo tov Adonai lekorbav lanefesh tihidrashenu Tov vayachil v'dumam l'tshuat Adonai. We're going to go to 27 on the other side, and I'm going to make it big so people can get back to the English. And Rabbi, why don't you give out some parts?
Very good. Is Mona Pesaroff willing to read now?
We just ask folks that are not reading if you keep your mics muted during the parts where you're not reading, please.
It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. Let him sit alone and keep silence because he has laid it on him. Let him put his mouth in the dust, there may yet be help. Let him give his cheek to him who strikes him. Let him be filled with reproach. For the Lord will not cast off forever, for though he cause grief, yet he will have compassion according to the multitude of his long loving kindness.
Let's stop there and give someone else a chance. Chapter verse 33.
Let's see who has not read yet. I have Roz and Marvin.
Was that me?
That
Yes.
was you.
33.
Please.
For he does not afflict willingly nor grieve the children of men, to crush underfoot all the prisoners of the earth, to pervert justice of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord does not approve. Who is he?
Keep going.
Who says, and it comes to pass, when the Lord doesn't command it? Doesn't evil and good come out of the mouth of the Most High? Why does a living man complain, a man by the punishment of his sins?
Let's stop there and give out to someone else, please.
Is Ed Gustad able to see the screen and read? Oh, hello.
Hi.
You're muted, but I see you speaking.
Was that Irene?
Irene, we appreciate your speaking. We can't hear you. There you are.
Number 40.
Yes, please.
Let us search and examine our ways and turn back to the Lord. Let us lift up our heart with our hands to the Almighty in the heavens. We have transgressed and we have rebelled. We have not pardoned. You have covered with anger and pursued us. You have killed, you have not pitied. You have covered yourself with a cloud so that no prayer can pass through. You have made us a filth and refuge in the midst of the peoples. All our enemies have opened their mouth wide against us.
Thank you very much.
I see Marcy and Joseph on the screen there with a little child, a couple of nice, lovely children. Would you like to read? Fine. How about Al and Gloria Fine? Al and Gloria Fine?
Okay, can you hear me?
We
We
hear
can.
you.
Okay, where are we? 47?
Yes, please.
Good. Fear and the pit are come on us, devastation and destruction. My eye runs down with streams of water for the calamity of the daughter of my people. My eye pours down and doesn't cease without any intermission until the Lord looks down and see from heaven. My eye affects my soul because of,
Go ahead.
okay.
No, go ahead. Take it to cause. That's all right.
Okay, because of all the daughters of my city, they have chased me, soar like a bird, those who are my enemies without cause.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate that. Rabbi 53.
Have we heard from Maxine?
I don't know.
Maxine?
You can see the people. I can't.
Yes.
They have cut off my life in the dungeon, and they have cast a stone on me. Waters flow over my head. I said, I am cut off. I called on your name, O Lord, out of the lowest dungeon. You heard my voice. Don't hide your ear for my relief or my cry. You drew near in the day that I called on you. You said, don't be afraid. O Lord, you have pleaded the causes of my soul. You have redeemed my life.
Thank you so much, Maxine. We appreciate that. And who's going to read number 59?
Would Eileen Adams, sorry, go ahead. Whoever that was, go ahead.
I think it was just someone with an open mic.
Okay. Well, Eileen Adams.
I'm here.
Great.
59, right?
Please.
Yes.
Oh Lord, you have seen my wrong. Judge you my cause. You have seen all their vengeance and all their schemes against me. You have heard their reproach, O Lord, and all their schemes against me. The lips of those that rose up against me and the thoughts against me all the day. See you sitting down and they're rising up. I am their song. You will render to them a recompense. O Lord, according to the work of their hands, you will give them hardness of heart. Your curse to them.
Thank you so much. Rabbi Bernie, do you want to take us through 66?
Absolutely. You will pursue them in anger and destroy them from under the heavens of the Lord.
Thank you for that. And now we'll move. We're going to get on to reader number 4, I believe.
Can we, yes, from
that would be, I believe, Alan Toulousky. Alan Toulousky from Temple Ner Tamid. Alan?
O God, answer you in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob set you up on high. Send forth your help from the sanctuary and support you out of Zion. We will shout. Sorry.
It's all right. I messed up your page anyway.
Sorry, I didn't know my phone. Send forth your help from the sanctuary and support you out of Zion. We will shout for joy in your victory in the name of our God. We will set up our standards. Eternal One, fulfill all our petitions. Know now I that the Eternal saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the mighty acts of his saving right hand.
Alan, thank you so much for doing that. Rabbi Bernie, I cut you off. Now, if you would, please pick up at verse 1.
How is the gold become dim? How is the most pure gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out at the head of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? Even the jackals draw out the beast. They nurse their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Thank you, Rabbi. And Rabbi, who do we have next?
Ms. Ethel Chevlin there. If Ethel Chevlin can't read at the moment, we ask Ethel Fisher to read. Okay. All right. How about Dorothy? Let me see the first name there. Okay. I'm going to ask Deborah Pransky to read.
Yes. Hi. The tongue of the suckling child cleaves to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, none breaks it to them. Those who did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. Those who were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. For the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands were laid on her. Her noble ones were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their outline was as of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaves to their bones.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
Lovely. Would someone else like to raise their hand?
Mark Cohen's got his hand up.
Great.
Rabbi, it is withered, it is become like a stick. Those who are killed with the sword are better than those who are killed with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through, for want of the fruits of the field. The hands of the pitiful women have boiled their own children. They were their food in the destruction of the daughter of my people. The Lord has spent his wrath. He has poured out his fierce anger. He has kindled a fire in Sion, which has devoured the foundations of it.
Mark, thank you so much. Rabbi, who's next?
There's a screen that says Cindy Beth. Someone there who could read? How about Kelly Richmond?
The kings
of the earth didn't believe, neither all the inhabitants of the world, that the adversary and the enemy would enter into the gates of Jerusalem. It is because of the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that they shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They wander as blind men in the streets. They are polluted with blood, so that men can't touch their garments. Depart you, they cried unto them, unclean.
Thank you very much. Cindy, I think, tried to also read at the same time. So Cindy, why don't you pick it up with the word depart? Go ahead and open your mic. Cindy.
I'm coming.
There we are. Go ahead.
Depart, depart, don't touch. When they fled away and wandered near, said among the nations, they shall no more sonder here. The anger of the Lord has scattered them. He will no more regard them. They didn't respect the person of the priests. It's hard to read it, Rabbi. It's so small.
Okay, that's all right. We'll let that. Thank you for that one. We'll now let Christopher. I think Christopher just put his hand up, so we'll let Christopher pick it up from there. They didn't. I think she's working on a phone, Rabbi. That's why. So
yes, I understand.
Christopher.
They are, we're 17.
Right here. They didn't favor the elders.
They didn't favor the elders. Our eyes do yet fail in looking for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save. They hunt our steps so that we can't go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our pursuers were swifter than the eagles of the sky.
Give you one more.
They chased us on the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the nations.
Thank you, Christopher. Rabbi, who's next?
Thank you. Well, can I ask Lauren Cherkis to read?
Rejoice and be glad, daughter of Edom, that dwell in the land of Uz. The cup shall pass through to you also. You shall be drunken and shall make yourself naked. The punishment of your iniquity is accomplished. Daughter of Zion, he will no more carry you away into captivity. He will visit your iniquity. Daughter of Edom, he will uncover your sins.
All right, we'll ask you to stop there. This is chapter 5. And I believe we have a reader from, is it Tiferet Shalom, Rabbi?
Yes, Amy Sleva.
And this is the final chapter. So I know you've been waiting, but we finally reaching the last chapter.
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Through violence, you may murder a murderer.
but you can't murder. Through violence, you may murder a liar, but you can't establish truth. Through violence, you may murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. Darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. Difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on its days ahead with an audacious future. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, and when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe working to pull down the gigantic mountains of evil and power that is able to make a way out of no way and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. Let us realize the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. By Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., August 1967.
Beautifully read. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, this is the last chapter. This is final chapter. So let's do most of this in English, and then we'll finish it up in the Hebrew. Rabbi, who would like to read?
Well, I want to invite President Rachel Zalvin, if she's at the phone. And Mike.
Uh-oh.
Something is distorting. Something's distorting your microphone.
Rachel, you got a microphone issue.
Okay.
Just so you'll know, you're going to have to reboot. But anyway, we'll find someone else, I guess.
Appreciate your willingness. And there's someone named Grace. Would she be able to read? All right. If Grace is not able to read now. Beth Hoffman, are you able to read?
Yes.
She better be able to read.
Remember, O Lord, what has become of us. Look and see our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold to us. Our pursuers are on our necks. We are weary. We have no rest. We have given the hand to Egyptians, to Ashur, to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers sinned and are no more.
All right. And I know that Christopher raised his hand one more time. So Christopher?
We have borne their iniquities. Servants rule over us. There is none to deliver us out of their hand. We get our bread at the peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our skin is black like an oven because of the burning heat of famine.
Rabbi Kudan.
Yes, Rachel Zalvin has, I think, solved the microphone issue. We invite her to read.
Good.
They ravished the women in Sion, the virgins in the cities of Yehuda. Princes were hanged up by their hand. The faces of the elders were not honored. The young men carried the mill. The children stumbled under the wood. The old have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music.
You did so well. Keep going.
The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning. The crown is fallen from our head. Woe to us, for we have sinned. For this our heart is faint.
And we have, I believe, anybody else have their hand up, Rabbi?
I don't see any hands up at the moment.
I see hands perhaps from before. Rabbi Kudan and Rabbi Bernie, would you guys take us to the end, and then I'll read the last verses in Hebrew.
Okay. We have, for these things our eyes are dim. For the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk on it. You, the Lord, abide forever. Your throne is from generation to generation.
Rabbi Bernie.
Why do you forget us forever and forsake us for length of days? Bring us back to you, O Lord, and we shall return. Renew our days as of old, but you have utterly rejected us. You are very angry against us.
Rabbi Kudan.
Bring us back to you, O Lord, and we shall return. Renew our days as of old.
And you know what that is, right? As we look back at that in the Hebrew, Ashivenu Adonai Elecha b'nashuva. Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem. Rabbi Kudan, would you introduce the portion of healing now that we've concluded Eicha?
Thank you, Rabbi Perlman. As we have been going through a very challenging and difficult time, the Jewish people, all people, indeed all across the globe, and we are in need of healing. Our people have learned that it's important to hope, to pray for strength, to support one another. And so at this time, we offer a Misha Berach, a prayer in which we invoke the name of God and we beseech God for help and healing at this time. There's so many who are afflicted by the coronavirus, and of course, those who suffer from other ailments and injuries and afflictions of the body and soul. And so we ask Music Director of Temple Tiferet Shalom, Brina Toder-Tabaski, to share this healing prayer with us.
We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shelena. Heal us now. Heal us now. Hoshia et lecha, uvarech et nachlotecha.
song.
Very important thing for us to be praying for, especially during this pandemic that we're living through, and having to be together on Zoom to do our service where normally we would be in our synagogues. But these are our synagogues. These are our virtual homes, our virtual sanctuaries. And I know that there's a good that comes out of all the bad, right? There's something good that comes out of bad. The ability for us to be together tonight, 3 synagogues, 1 in New Jersey, 2 in Peabody, Massachusetts, and anyone else joining us tonight on YouTube or Facebook. People from all over the world join us. And when we gather together in a virtual world like this to do what we're supposed to be doing, and that is to be remembering God, and also to remember that there's been loss in our world. There's been pain in our world. There's been suffering. And when we prayed just now for peace, as we prayed for peace, for healing, we pray for peace as well in our world. And we also pray for a new world, a world where there will be hope. And so before we conclude, Brian is going to be singing Egalitarian. And we'll conclude the service tonight with Hatikva, the hope, that we don't have to mourn anymore. There'll be no more destruction. There'll be no more pain. There'll be no more suffering. There'll be no more times when people are trying to hurt each other. There'll be no more anti-Semitism and hatred, racial intolerance. Tonight we read very difficult words. It's very hard to read Lamentations. It's very hard to sit on a stool and mourn and listen and read these words. But we must remember, and we must be ready, because if we don't take heed to what's happened in the past, it'll be repeating itself if we forget. Rabbi Horowitz, Rabbi Kudan, do you have any final words before we do Egalitarian and then Hatikva?
I'd just like to say I appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and with the prophet Jeremiah, what he was saying in the last few weeks, we've been reading the Haftarah. We had warning. I'm saying Jewish people had warning after warning after warning, and we didn't heed the warning. So maybe this token of us getting together, and perhaps many of us hopefully maybe fasting, or at least not having a joyous day tomorrow, will let God know to say, hey, we'd love to have you back again. And let's have a nice big party in Jerusalem together as in the days of old.
Amen. Rabbi Kudan?
Yes, we look forward to a time of healing, and that's our heartfelt prayer. And we are here to support one another and all those around us to the best of our ability. So, sei gesund, stay healthy, and stay well.
Egalitarian. We conclude with the hope, Hatikva, would be interesting if we can all stand for this as we remember Israel, Yerushalayim, Israel, the land of our people, the land of hope, the land of freedom, the land of our future. Hatikva. Everybody have an easy fast tonight and a meaningful Tisha B'Av. And thank you to my colleagues tonight, Rabbi Kudan Horowitz, Brandon Tabasky. Thank you so much, the musical director. And thank you all for joining us from the congregations here and around wherever you are. May we see you peace. So Seh Shalom b'mirmav hu yaseh Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Perlman.
Thank
you, Rabbi.
Thank you, rabbis and Bunny.
Thank you, rabbis.
Thank you.
Hi, Bernie.